You can cry on command.
But they are usually very fast, and that is why I decided to create this. Welcome to Free Talk, the show to help you learn English the fun and simple way. Ready? Hello and welcome back to Free Talk Podcast. My name is Alan and I am the host of this show that has one objective: to help you learn English the fun and simple way, using, of course, the power of listening and the power of stories. In today's topic, we have a very interesting topic, I believe, because it's something that is really current. It's happening right now to a lot of people. I think it's something that maybe you can relate with, something that you can connect with. But before we go directly to the topic of today's podcast, I would like to take one moment to say something to you. You see, we launched this podcast almost 3 weeks ago. It was the next step in Free Talk after we finished with the launch of the free course that we have at www.freetalkingles.com. And when we launched this podcast, we did it first on iTunes. And we did this show, we produced this show with the best intentions. We really want to help you learn English, but we didn't know anything about podcast. We didn't know anything about the content that other people were producing out there. So we were really hoping for the best, and that is exactly what happened. From the very first day, from the day number one, this podcast was featured, was listed in this section of iTunes that is called New and Noteworthy. New and Noteworthy is a section on the iTunes store where they show or they display the best shows that are new and that are creating good content, quality content for people. And if we are in that section, it's all because of you, because you are subscribing to this podcast, you are downloading the episodes, you are giving us ratings and reviews, you are giving us your opinion about the show. And that engagement, that participation of yours, it is exactly what makes that Free Talk is still, after 3 weeks, we continue in that section. This podcast has been downloaded hundreds of times, I think more than 400 times. So that is an impressive number for a new show. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much for being part of this podcast. Thank you very much for listening. And let's continue doing so. Let's continue making this community of English learners bigger. Okay, so I only wanted to say that. I wanted to say thank you. Okay, so then let's move on now to the topic of today. As you noticed on the title of this episode of this podcast number 4, this episode is called Netflix versus TV, Netflix versus television. And what we are going to do here is basically try to establish these differences between Netflix and a regular cable television system or just regular television. First, I suppose, I am assuming that you know what Netflix is, because it's so big that it's part of our culture. If somebody mentions Netflix, we know what they are talking about. So basically what Netflix is a service of streaming. Streaming. So maybe also you know this word. Streaming means that they are giving you content, but they are not really giving it to you. So they are giving you like the permission or the possibility to watch the content, but you cannot keep it. So you are not making any downloads of the shows that you are watching. You only watch them, and when you are not watching, the episodes are not there. They are not your episodes. It's something similar to the like pay-per-view, for example. If you want to watch a show, or in this case it's mostly about sports. If you want to watch a box match or something like that, you have to pay to obtain the permission to watch that particular thing that you want to watch. In this case, Netflix works in a similar way, but they are using subscriptions. So you pay every month a quantity, an amount of money. I think it's how much is it? $10, I think. Well, in pesos, Mexican peso, I think it's 100 pesos or something like that. So you pay every month this amount of money, and with that money that you are paying, you can watch anything you want during an entire month. So if you want to spend all your day watching TV shows, you can do it because you paid your 100 pesos or $10. I think it's the equivalent. So that is basically how Netflix works. And of course, it is using the internet, because you need the internet to watch the actual content on Netflix. On the episode number 2 of this podcast, we discuss the transformation of the internet, and I think that Netflix is one of the perhaps the events or the phenomenons that are taking this evolution of the internet to make a business out of it. Because let's check how Netflix began, how Netflix started. Netflix was founded in 1997, so that is almost 20 years ago. So the company Netflix was founded almost 20 years ago. So if you try to imagine the situation of the internet in 1997, it was completely different. The speed of the internet was, it was really slow. So with that kind of internet in 1997, it would not be possible to do streaming, because you need a lot of data to be transferred, a lot of information to be transferred. So when Netflix started, they were not using the internet, of course. What they were doing is that they were mailing DVDs, physical DVDs, actual DVDs. The story goes something like this. The founder, the CEO and founder of Netflix he rented a movie from Blockbuster, and then he wanted to return the movie because the time was over. He needed to return the movie, so he went to the store, but he was late. So he didn't return the movie on the day that he was supposed to return the movie. And the people at Blockbuster said, okay, yes, you can return the DVD, but you need to pay a fee. So you need to pay us money because you didn't return the movie in time. So this fee, the money that this person had to pay was $40 of 1997. So that is a ridiculous fee. It's too much money only because you didn't return the movie in time. So this guy, the founder of Netflix, said, that's too much. That's ridiculous. It's not. I don't think that's work. People surely don't like this. So we need to make a change. So he said, what I'm going to do is I am going to start a company, and what we are going to do is we are going to rent DVDs just like Blockbuster, but with a difference. We are going to charge people a fee, a flat fee, flat, F-L-A-T, flat, F-E-E, flat fee. So this means that this money that people had to pay was fixed. So it was not going to change. It was always the same price. So for example, let's suppose that you wanted to rent a movie. You wanted to rent Titanic. I think Titanic is from that period of time. So you wanted to rent Titanic, and then you go to Netflix and you pay, I don't know, $10, for example. And then they give you the DVD, and you can keep the DVD for as long as you want. You can keep the DVD for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. So you can keep the DVD. But if you want to have another, to get another DVD, you needed to return the DVD and then pay your next flat fee, and then you get another DVD. But this meant, so this the implication of this is that you didn't have to pay extra money if you didn't return the movie in time. Only what happens is that you cannot watch another movie until you return the first movie. So this was a completely different kind of business. It was a different system of dealing with this situation. So they wanted to make something different, and they did it. And people were skeptical. They were like, no, that is not going to work. I mean, people don't want that. But the reality is that people really wanted that. So people looked at that idea like, wow, that is something new, and that is something that is more convenient to me, so I want to try that. And what they were doing is that they were mailing the DVDs. So they didn't have physical stores like Blockbuster. Blockbuster was an establishment, a building. So if you wanted to rent a movie, you needed to go to the store and do your transaction, get your DVD, pay your money, and go home. But Netflix was doing it differently. They were mailing, they were sending the DVDs to your house using mail, using the postal service. So this was also something more convenient for people, because they only needed to go to a web page, order a DVD, and they would receive it in their homes. So that was the first part of the Netflix history as a company, we could say. But then, with the evolution of the internet, like we mentioned, we had more velocity on the internet, and then people suddenly, so people started to using the internet for more things, and then they started to use it to download music and movies and all that stuff. So Netflix, the people at Netflix said, okay, we have an opportunity here. So we are going to change our approach. We are going to change the way we are doing things, and we are going to make these movies digital, and people can download the movies. So this was a complete change in the way we watch television, because this transformed into something that now we call on demand. On demand. So on demand means that you can, for example, in this particular case, you can watch whatever movie you want at any time you want, wherever you are. Of course, if you have internet. And that is maybe the biggest difference between Netflix and on-demand services against regular television. Because if you want to watch a TV show on television, you cannot watch this TV show anytime you want. You need to wait, usually every week. For example, if right now you want to watch, I don't know, The Big Bang Theory, you cannot say, okay, I am going to turn on the TV and I am going to watch The Big Bang Theory. No, you need to wait until the day that they have The Big Bang Theory. Maybe, I don't know, Tuesday or Saturday, whatever. But if you have content on demand, if you have Netflix, you go to the application and then you search, you browse, you go around all the catalog of Netflix, and you can decide what you want to watch. You can pause it, You can go forward, you can rewind, you can stop it, you can watch it later, you can watch it in different periods. So you can watch one part in the morning, one part in the afternoon, whatever. It is your choice, and that is maybe the biggest difference between Netflix and regular television programming. Now, that is something that actually, to give you my own example, I started to watch TV shows again because of Netflix. Because I don't like to be like waiting every week to watch something. I want to watch, and I like to watch whenever I want to watch. It's like a book. Yeah, imagine that you want to read a book, but you cannot read a book until a specific day at a specific time. I mean, that's not how it works. If you want to read it, you want to read it now. The same thing happens with Netflix. The same thing happens with TV shows or with movies. If I want to watch a TV show right now, I will watch it right now on Netflix. And that is why I return to the television. For a lot of time, for a long time, I was not watching television. I think maybe for 2 or 3 years. I didn't even have a television because I hate commercials. A lot of the shows are not good. You don't have many options. Even if you have cable televisions, the options are limited. So when I discovered Netflix and I tried it, I said, yeah, this is what I want. And that happened like 2 years ago, I think, and I have watched a lot of series in that time because I can do it anytime that I want. So, well, that is basically how Netflix works, and how Netflix changed from mailing DVDs to streaming TV shows and movies. And that is only one of the things. A lot of people are saying that Netflix is killing, or it's going to kill, it's going to destroy the television as we know it. So they say, okay, maybe not Netflix in particular, but digital content, digital streaming is going to destroy eventually television. And there are some numbers that are really proving this. Just to give you an idea of how big Netflix is, let's check this. Right now, Netflix, only in the United States, has more than just 69 million subscribers. 69 million subscribers. And from all the traffic, all the internet traffic, all the information that is going around in the internet in the United States during the evenings, almost 36% is related to Netflix. So just imagine that. We talk on one of the past episodes about the number of people that are using the internet. So now imagine that 1/3, it's 36%, 1/3 of the entire people in the United States using the internet are using it to watch Netflix. So that is remarkable. That is a really, really big number. And that is only about the number of subscribers in the United States. But I think that globally they have something around right now. I don't have the exact number, but people say that by 2017, so only 2 years away, within 2 years, Netflix is going to reach 100 million subscribers. So that is a big number of people using Netflix. Netflix is now a multi-billion-dollar company. They are immensely rich because of this great idea that they had, And the idea is basically to give people what they want to watch in the moment they want to watch with no extra money. It's almost like a buffet. Like you can eat anything you want for a price. The same thing happens with Netflix. You can watch anything you want, anytime you want, for the exact same price. Another of the reasons why Netflix is gaining a lot of people are coming now to Netflix, is because they are now producing what they call Netflix originals. So these series are series that you can watch only on Netflix. And a lot of these series are really, really well produced series with great actors, with great directors, with great production. So these are like extremely good TV shows, and they are only available on Netflix. And only to give you an example, I will mention a couple, and maybe you watch some of these TV shows and maybe you like them because they are really good. For example, I will start with the biggest and maybe the most important or the most remarkable TV show that is a Netflix original is House of Cards. House of Cards, they have received a lot of nominations to the Emmy Awards, and they have been, the critics to the show have been really, really good. A lot of people are watching it because it's a great series. Also, maybe Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black is one of my now favorite TV series, and the quality of the production and the quality of the story and the quality of the acting and the directing and the producing, everything is great, and it's a series that you can watch only on Netflix. And this is something really, really great for Netflix because it's attracting a lot of people, a lot of young people to watch these shows. And of course, they can only do that. They can only watch them on Netflix. So, the title of this podcast is basically Netflix versus television. And like I mentioned some point before, a lot of people say that Netflix is killing the TV industry, that maybe Netflix or the digital streaming eventually is going to stop regular television. There are some reasons maybe that make this. It's possible, but it seems it looks a little difficult because Netflix gives you the possibility to watch things that are pre-recorded, so things that are not live, are not happening right now. So what happens, for example, with the news? You cannot watch the news in the moment they are happening on Netflix because that's not what they do. So you need to go to the television and watch a news show. Or sport events like the Super Bowl or baseball games or basketball games. The fun part or the exciting part of the sport events is that you are watching those things in the exact moment they are happening. And Netflix doesn't give you that possibility. So what I think is that maybe if eventually, if in time Netflix starts introducing these features, these characteristics like a big catalog with all the things you want to watch, plus these live things like news or sport events or things like that, I think that it's really, really possible that they will kill the television, and I would be so happy about that. I like TV shows, but I don't like television in general. Okay, so that is it. That's how we are going to end this main topic of the podcast. Again, it's 25 minutes now. I try my best to keep this podcast short, but it's really, at least right now, it's a little complicated. I need to maybe I don't know. I think these things are interesting and I want to share them with you. So I hope that this duration, like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes is good for you. So before we go to the next section, I will ask you this question. So do you use Netflix? Do you like Netflix? Do you prefer Netflix to television? And the question is this: do you think that it is possible that in the future television will disappear and we will only watch things on Netflix or services like Netflix? Do you think that the television could disappear sometime in the future? So please let me know. You can let me know on the iTunes comments, on the iTunes reviews. You can let me know on the webpage www.freetalkenglish.com/podcast. When we record a podcast, we accompany this podcast with a blog post. So if you are listening to this podcast, maybe from iTunes or something like that, when we have a new episode, you can go to that webpage, freetalkenglish.com, go to the podcast section, and we have a blog for every episode. We have the show notes, sometimes we have some extra content, and that is a great place for you to tell me your opinion, in this case about Netflix. Do you think that television is going to disappear and we are going to use only Netflix? I would love to hear your comments and your opinions about this. And now, let's go to a short word on pronunciation. Okay, now on the word on pronunciation for this episode, we are going to continue with the part of the intonation, the stress of the words. On the last episode, I told you the difference in the intonation when one word can be used as a noun or as a verb. For example, the word record. If you talk about a noun, you say a record. If you talk about it as a verb, you say to record. So there is a difference in the intonation, in the stress. Something similar happens when we have what we can call two-word phrases or compound words. On the last video episode of one of the series of videos that we have that is called Say What, I mentioned the word eggshell. Eggshell. So eggshell is a compound word. It's a combination of two words that form a new word. When that happens, when we use two different words and we put those words together, maybe they have a space, or they are completely together, or they have a hyphen, they have this little line in between, but they are a new word. The intonation, the stress is going to be on the first part, on the first word. So just to give you an example, let's look at the word baseball. Baseball. So baseball is that the sport that for example the Major League Baseball, the Yankees and the Red Sox and all that thing. So that is the sport. But the ball they use to play, the ball they throw and the other person hits with the bat, that is a baseball. And baseball is the combination of two words, the word base and the word ball. So in this case, the intonation, the stress, the emphasis is going to be on the first word. In this case, that is base. So we don't say, for example, a baseball. We say a baseball, a baseball, a baseball. Let's take a look at another example. Maybe the word mailbox. Mailbox. So mailbox is the combination of the words mail, like letters that you send through the postal service, or I mentioned on the Netflix example, mail, and we have box. So a mailbox is the box where you receive your letters, where you receive your mail. So that is the word, and the stress goes in the word mail. So we say mailbox, mailbox, mailbox. We don't say mailbox, we say mailbox. One more, we can use the word goldfish, goldfish. That is one word, but is formed by the words gold and the word fish. So when we have this new word, the pronunciation is goldfish, goldfish, goldfish. Now, in these three examples, we are using words that together they form one new individual word. But sometimes these words are separated, but they are still a new thing. For example, we can say a coffee cup. A coffee cup. We have coffee, the drink, and we have cup. It's the container where you put the coffee. But in this case, it's not a completely new word, but we say a coffee cup because it's not any kind of cup. It's a cup that is specifically made for coffee. So you say a coffee cup, a coffee cup. Or we can say also, for example, a spider web, a spider web, a spider web. Yeah? So we don't say a spider web, we say a spider web. Spider is, of course, that insect with 8 legs and a lot of eyes, like the Spider-Man. And web is what they build, what they weave. When they want to catch flies, or when they want to, I don't know if they use it for another purpose, but they make these things, and that is a spider web. And the same thing happens with Spider-Man, for example. Spider-Man is a new word. It's just like, it's not a real word, but it's the name of this superhero. And we don't say Spider-Man, we say Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Yes? So that is why how we make this differentiation here. When we have 2-word phrases or compound words, the intonation, the stress, goes on the first word. Okay? Baseball, mailbox, goldfish, spiderweb, coffee cup, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Yeah? Okay. So that is going to be the end of this section of a word on pronunciation. And before we go back to, before we finish, I will tell you just one more thing. Okay, so before we finish with this episode, I just want to say one more thing to you. As you know, we are making these episodes of the podcast every Wednesday, so we have new episodes every Wednesday, but sometimes we are going to make special podcasts. So sometimes we are going to make maybe 2 or 3 episodes in a week. And when that happens, it's because we are going to make a podcast that maybe is different to the things that we usually do here. And the first of these special episodes is going to happen on Friday, next Friday. So today is Wednesday, December 16th, and this Friday, December the 18th, we are going to have a special podcast. This podcast, I don't know, I want to tell you right now because maybe you are not completely interested in the topic. As you maybe know, this next Friday, a big movie is coming to the cinema, and that is the long-awaited, the really, really expected movie, Star Wars Episode 7. and we are going to make a special podcast about Star Wars. So I am a big fan of Star Wars, so I am going to talk about some things about the movie, some maybe interesting facts about the movie. So if you are interested in listening to that episode, make sure to come here on Friday. Friday we have a bonus episode of this podcast, and I hope that if you are interested in it, you can come and listen to the episode. And just before we finish, I just wanted to tell you that this podcast is only one of the many things that we have at Free Talk for you. This podcast is focused to the listening part. I think that the listening part is by far the most important of all. But we are making a lot of content to cover other areas. We have some videos on YouTube. We are making videos every week. In these videos right now, we explain everyday expressions and the situations where you can use those expressions. So if you want to learn more vocabulary, if you want to learn to listen to more English, if you want to watch the things when I explain, if you are maybe more visual, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch these videos. We have more videos coming this next year. So if you want to watch videos, make sure you go there. Also on the website we have a blog. So I am writing articles also every week, so that you can practice your reading, you can learn new vocabulary, and you can learn new things. I give in that blog, I give advice, I give my recommendations, I give my experiences as a teacher and as a learner. So if you are interested in knowing more about that, absolutely you should go there and read those articles. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, we are sharing a lot of things too. More videos, more images, more things for you to absorb the language, to interact with the language. Some funny, interesting, mysterious things. So if you want more, make sure you follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And of course, we have the free course. So if you want to learn how you can learn more and more easily, you can get your copy of the course. Is absolutely free. 8 principles, 8 emails with video, PDFs, and MP3s. It's absolutely free, so you can go there and get your copy. You only need to enter your email and your name. No commitments, no prices. It's absolutely free. So I will see you, I hope, on Friday. If you are not a Star Wars fan, I will see you next week with a brand new episode of this podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being here. And remember to keep it simple. See you then.